Hello friends, Tanya here with another of the August 2024 releases from Spellbinders. This is the Let It Snow collection from Simon Hurley, and these penguins are so stinking adorable. They have lots of different accessories and they have lots of little cute attitude. I'm going to assemble the three penguin bases here. We've got one that's leaning pretty hard to the left, or to your right, to the penguin's left, to our right. And the black and white pieces are very easy to assemble. There are embossed lines that help you line up the white portion. I add a little bit of washi tape to the back of this assembled piece so I can add the little orange beak. And the feet are on this 2 feet on one piece, and it's really easy to assemble this. All 3 sets of feet that cut out on the die, because it cuts 3 sets of feet and the 3 beaks all at once, they're connected. They're all the same, and you can see that this body is designed to hold things. The key to assembling this little penguin is making sure you're not going to cover up the arms, so you can still push those up to hold whatever element you decide to have it hold. Again, going to add some washi tape to the back of this element so I can add the it's the orange beak. And then we'll add the feet. Again, these are super easy to assemble. Just adding a little bit of glue to the arch and then tucking it underneath our penguin. You can see that these guys are adorable even without any of the accessories. They I just love the character that they get from their facial expressions and from the way that they are moving. Just adorable. This is an irresistible penguin die set to me. Love it, and it comes together very quickly. That's all 3 of the penguin bases, and then let's look at some of these accessories. We have a sweater that has 4 pieces here. It has the neck band that you add, and I love that adds, you can add a contrasting color, you can just add some extra texture and depth here. It has very dimensional look, and I'm lining this up with it only fits really on one of the penguins. You can kind of make it work on one of the other penguins, but it really works best with the one that's leaning pretty hard. I'm trying to figure out which cuff goes where, and the narrower cuff goes on the penguin's left or your right. And the wider one goes on the penguin's right or your left. Now, as a nurse, I'm used to identifying the patient's right versus my right. So if I say the penguin's left arm, I mean the one that's on your right side when you're facing the penguin. And when you hear me stumble over right and left on things, it's often because in my brain, I'm still in nurse mode where anything on my right is on the patient's left. You know, that's the way our brains get trained. There is a cute little party hat that goes with it can go with the sweater or not with the sweater, but I chose to make it coordinate with the sweater on this cute little penguin. And then every time I say the word penguin, I think of Benedict Cumberbatch, and when he was narrating a nature show and he could not pronounce the word penguin. He was saying penwings and all kinds of funny ways to say it, and he legitimately did not know how to pronounce penguin. So every time I say the word penguin, all I can think of is Benedict Cumberbatch. Next, I assembled the little gift, and the box came in 2 pieces, and there is this pretty little bow that fits on top of it. Now, the die that cuts out this bow cuts out 2 bows. One and you can use them on the gift and the wreath. At least that's what they were designed for. You can, of course, use them all kinds of ways. Oh, wouldn't it make a cute little bow tie for one of the penguins? You can put bows on all kinds of things. Pretend it's a hair tie. Yeah, lots of uses. Now I thought these little circles, it cuts 6 little circles, and I thought for sure it was supposed to be berries or baubles or some such, but you know what? In retrospect, they are supposed to be for the little cheeks on your penguin, so you can add some little pink cardstock. Now personally, I don't like the look of added depth for cheeks because your cheeks are flush. They don't have dimension, the pinkness, so I prefer to add the pink cheeks with a marker or watercolor or some kind of ink or dye method. Oh, and there's those adorable antlers and a little red nose for like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And we have a Santa hat that has its own separate rim or brim and the tassel. We're going to add these. I actually cut all of this out with white and used a red or a couple of red alcohol markers to color the hat. Sometimes you can just color your white cardstocks after you've die cut them. Sometimes it's easier not having to go find individual colors, or so you can decide what your colors will be later. We'll glue this to the top of one of our little penguins, and look at that. We have 3 penguins and all of the accessories from that die set. Now I'm going to add those pink cheeks that I did not glue on with a pink alcohol marker. This happens to be one of the Spectrum Noir Tri-Blends. I think it's the pale pink blend. And these are the handwritten holiday sentiments, also from this collection. I've die cut these from some gold. I actually used the lunar paste in Slippery When Wet on some white cardstock to get this metallic cardstock. You may be able to tell that this doesn't look like my usual crafting desk. I filmed this while I was working in out of town, staying at my stepdad's house in my little improvised craft space there. I finally constructed a mount for my camera so I can start filming there on a regular basis and not have to haul my mount back and forth. That was a little more than I wanted to haul. It's not a big mount. I made it out of PVC pipes, but it's a pain in the butt to remove the things that are stacked around and in over my mount on my craft room desk at home, and then have to reassemble that when I get home. So I have a second camera mount at his house. Boy, that was a whole lot of explanation. But that's why this background is different. This is a clear cutting mat, clear-ish cutting mat that I've laid on the black folding table that I'm working on here. There might be more wiggling in this video. I'm sorry. But I had a spare day between work days, and I thought I would take advantage of that by doing some filming. And there is Christmas. So it's all Christmas words here, and these are the ones that I've assembled. Merry Christmas, Noel, and we've got warm wishes. That doesn't have to be Christmas. And we also have Let It Snow. Again, doesn't have to be Christmas. And then I'm feeling the joy. I am ready to use joy to the world. I think this is so pretty. Haven't been feeling the joy to the world lately. This year, it's coming back. Next, we're going to use the layering snowflakes, not snowbanks. They can become snowbanks. Absolutely. That's what they're made out of. But there are 3 layering snowflake dies in here, and they each have a backer. I've die cut those from some vellum. And this is cardstock that I used the pearl luster gilding polish and the snow and ice gilding polish to create my own specialty cardstock. I've done this before. Again, this is in my limited supplies craft room. I do have the gilding polishes and 12 or 13 of the distress mica stains, and that's how I end up creating specialty cardstock most of the time in my improvised craft room. Definitely a limited supplies craft area. I am layering all three of these snowflakes together, and we'll add that to the largest of the backer dies that I die cut from some vellum. And there is our assembled snowflake. I love all the texture and layers on this. Very nice crystally snowflake. And then I am going to just show you there's a ton of variety that you can use in layering these dies. You can layer any of these three together, all of them together, or just two of them, or individually. Here I'm going to take the smallest of these snowflakes and add it to its matted background. And you can see that that's beautiful all by itself. These would be really pretty with rhinestones in the centers also, or pearls. Rhinestones give more of that crystal effect to me though. So if you wanted to soften it, then you could add the pearls. Next, we have the background plate, Frozen Flurries. This is so cool. I love that the outside edge is, you can do it with the die cutting outside edge or not. I have 2 half sheets of cardstock. Again, these were my homemade specialty papers. And you get a whole variety of snowflakes from that. And this is all of the snowflakes that I created by die cutting this 4 times on 2 different half sheets of cardstock. And then there are the smaller fillers here. These are great for confetti. There's little dots and snowflakes there. Here I'm going to take one of those die cut panels and lay it over another half sheet of cardstock, and we're going to spritz it with, I've got Hocus Pocus and Snow Flurries here for distress mica stains. I'm going to kind of use this as a stencil and create 2 backgrounds at once because I want to color this background so it looks like a night sky. So I've started with the Snow Flurries and I'm adding the Hocus Pocus purple and coming back with a little more of the Snow Flurries. Now I'm going to carefully pick this up using my tweezers, and you can see the stenciled background I get underneath that. So this was just kind of a bonus, I thought, and I do end up using both of these pieces. There, this is all dried, and you can see the shimmering gorgeousness there. And now I'm trimmed this down to slightly smaller than 5x7 because I'm going to use this on a 5x7 card. We're going to add glue to the back of this panel, and I'm trying to cover most of the panel but not the entire thing because that would take me so long. You could use some of the full sheet sticker sheets on the back of here before you die cut it, but this is my favorite way to do things, is just to use my liquid glue. Before I die cut it, I added the glue and I added another white piece of cardstock to the back of this, and then we'll take our die, the die that's slightly smaller than 5x7, and die cut that. And there will be some loose pieces. I just go ahead and adhere those back onto the panel. Now, I didn't show you all of them, but I did have to re-adhere like 5 or 6 pieces, just making sure to put them in the right spots. I did add some extra cardstock to the back of this, and we'll adhere it to our 5x7 card base. That's just a 10-inch by 7-inch piece of cardstock scored at 5 inches, and that creates your 5x7 card base. Adding a little more glue in a spot that I missed to make sure that stays nice and adhered. And then we'll move on to, what am I doing? Oh, I took some of the snowflakes. No, I'm taking just the plate. I forgot what I was doing here. Now I'm taking this, I have an older platform here for the Platinum 6. I'm taking just the press plate. I'm using the emboss with your die layering, and you can just follow the platform advice for that. It usually involves a silicone or a rubber mat that you lay over it that's flexible, soft and flexible, and it allows you to emboss with a die instead of cut with it. And I take a couple of circle dies and do a matted circle here for the center of our card. And our cute little penguin with the sweater who's leaning to the left, or to his left, our right. And then I'm taking Warm Wishes. I did find some holographic cardstock in my stash here, and I cut out Warm Wishes with this silvery holographic cardstock, and I die cut the shadow base for this these words from black. Just cleaning up the edges of this die cut before I adhere it to the shadow bases using my Barely Arts Precision Glue. I don't have the fine tip glue bottle at my second craft space. I might have to bring one though, because it's my favorite. Although this bottle of glue seems to be doing just fine. It wasn't hard to squeeze. It didn't get clogged. And it's not too big for me to handle. I've been using the larger size for a long time. I just really enjoy those fine tip glue bottles. Using my pickup stick here to place the tittle in Wishes, making sure that's adhered nicely. And we've got Warm Wishes to add to this. This could definitely be a winter birthday card. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for here. We'll adhere our cute little penguin, who I've added a little bit of extra cardstock behind for a little extra depth and dimension. We'll center him kind of on the circle here so that he can stand right above the words Warm Wishes. We'll adhere that to the circle also. And I did not feel the need to add any extra cardstock behind the little bits that overlap the edges of that circle. I think it'll be just fine. Next, we're going to add that layered snowflake right underneath that, just making sure that it's not covering too much of the words so those are easily readable. And then we'll add a couple more snowflakes. These are from that, I think those are from the die that's just the larger layering snowflakes. Getting that tucked under the word Wishes. And then we're going to add some gems to some rhinestones to the center here. These are from Trinity Stamps. These are the, oh gosh, I'm going to show you in just a second here. Having a little trouble getting that to stay where I want it because it keeps sticking to my finger. This is the problem when you get glue stuck to your fingers. This is the Crystal Twilight rhinestones, and they have four different sizes here. I'm going to pick out a couple of more of the largest of these gems to add to the centers of the snowflakes. I think that just really helps the snowflakes pop. Making sure they're adhered well, and then I just can't stop. I have to add more rhinestones. So I'm adding a few to scatter across the circle here to draw your eye towards the tassel of our little penguin here. Just using my pickup stick and the Barely Art glue to quickly place those. I don't fuss about the placement too much. And then inside, we're going to add some of these snowflakes that cut out from that background plate, from the Frozen Flurries background plate. Like I said, you get a ton of snowflakes with that die also, not just the background. Just going to take 3 different sizes of these snowflakes, and there are probably, I didn't count, but I bet there's 9 to 12 different styles of snowflakes in that background. And that completes our first card. For our second card, I'm going to take that second background and die cut that. Now the 5x7 layering dies that I have in my second craft space are not all the same. So these are not I don't have these dies at home, and I don't have the dies that I have at home at my second craft space. These are some waffle flower A7 or 5x7 dies. This one happens to have a scalloped detail. I die cut the background with that, and I also die cut an extra piece of white cardstock, and I'm using a scissors to create some snow slopes here. And I adhered these together. It's nice using die cutting the same die for different layers of your background because you know that they will fit together perfectly. There's my little snowbanks, And I've already added extra glue or extra cardstock to the back of this panel, and we're going to glue it directly to our 5x7 card base. We're going to make this a landscape orientation card instead of a portrait, which seems to be my go-to. I tend to do way more of the portraits orientation. Now that I have that adhered, I decided I wanted a little bit of extra definition on the edges of these snowbanks. So I'm going to add some sparkly, if you had clear Wink Stella, that would work. This happens to be the Concord 9th. I think it's the Concord 9th shimmering watercolor, which I don't even know if they have that shimmering liquid watercolor anymore. Liquid pixie dust from Trinity Stamps is always an option. There's lots of ways to add a little bit of extra shimmer. I think Hero Arts even had for a while there the shimmering watercolor. You could take Perfect Pearls and water in the Perfect Pearl color to create this edge also. You could also use the texture pastes and add some textured detail to these snowbanks. Lots of ways to add that. Now that I have my definition added to these snowbanks, we're going to add our cute little penguins. We're going to start with the one that I decorated up like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and we'll add him to the center front. He's holding a wreath. I do have to adhere that yet. It's still loose in his arms, so we'll add a little glue and tuck that back inside his hands. And then we're going to take a penguin with a Santa hat and glue him on one side. And then we're going to find another penguin with a Santa hat, because I actually made 9 of these penguins, and I used the different accessories to decorate each of them. So I'm just pulling those from my already created elements to add to the front of this card. Next, we're going to use the Merry Christmas sentiment that I created at the beginning of the video. This is with brushed white cardstock and that gold cardstock that we made with slippery when wet cardstock. What is that? Lunar paste? Yes, lunar paste. And next, we're going to add some snowflakes to the inside of the card. Now, I didn't have a lot of sentiment stamps or better press or anything like that, so I just chose to add some of the complementing accessory dies to the insides of these cards. We're taking 3 different snowflakes from the Frozen Flurries fallouts and adding those to the inside of the card in a line of snowflakes. And then we're going to take a second wreath that I had already, and we're going to add that to the center of our snowflake. Just adding little dabs of glue and centering that in the largest snowflake in the inside of this card. I think that would make a really pretty, clean and simple card even. But I like to keep that to a minimum, the clean and simple. Next, we're going to use that same emboss with your die method on this piece of Desert Storm cardstock, and we're going to take one of the penguins and we're going to have him carry one of the fallout snowflakes from the Frozen Flurries die. Just going to open up his little arms and tuck in that snowflake that I've added some glue to. And then we're going to use 2 of these background or silhouette snowflake pieces to create a backdrop. And I want a little extra depth because that's going to go on the front of our card. I'm going to add some glue to this largest snowflake and assemble that on the background. And then we're going to take our cute little penguin, after I've added a little extra cardstock, and add him to one side of this snowflake. Then we're going to take the sentiments, Let It Snow, and adhere those to the snowflake too. This would be an adorable little tag. That is another way, or ornament. Oh gosh, that would be adorable. Just add a little string to the top after you punch a hole through the top. I don't have a hole punch at my second craft space. And just getting these well adhered. I do have, I think, No, I didn't add extra layers behind those sentiment pieces. We are adding an extra layer of cardstock behind the embossed panel here on this is a mini slimline card, and I think it's a 3 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch card base with a 3 by 6 inch panel that I've created with the Desert Storm cardstock. I'm adding a little extra cardstock behind the snowflake because I really want it to stand out on this card base. Next, we'll center that on the front of the card. And I have a lot of space surrounding this element on the cardstock. So I go to my pile of snowflakes. I have so many snowflakes in this pile. I'm going to be able to make lots of different projects with the leftovers from this collection, from this video. We'll add 2 of the bigger, I think I add like 5 snowflakes to the front here just to fill this out, using a variety of sizes and different shapes. 1 more I think I'll add below the larger snowflake, I think. Nope, I'm adding a small one to the top. So we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There must be 6 additional snowflakes on this because I do add one, yep, right there. It's kind of fun to fill things out with all these snowflakes. It was really easy to make all of them. And they cut so nice and clean. Next, we're going to add a group of 3 snowflakes to the inside like we've done to all of the cards in this collection. Again, I have so many snowflakes to use, and I still have lots left. Can't have too many snowflakes though. You can add those to so many different projects. And there is our completed 3rd card. These were really fun to put together. I say that all the time, but I really do enjoy creating all of these projects. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do that now. I would love to have you. If you're interested in any of the products that you've seen here today, check that description box below. There will be a visual link with the complete list, and there will be a few of the products that I used in the description box. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you enjoyed most about this video. Until next time, here are a couple more videos that I thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.